This moment is not an accident. It is not random, ordinary, or something your spirit stumbled into by coincidence. There is a divine timing to what you are hearing right now, a spiritual alignment wrapping itself around this very second of your life. Heaven has paused, leaned in, and chosen this exact moment to speak to you. And you can feel it. Something in your atmosphere is shifting. Something around you is waking up. Something within you is beginning to rise. You are not here by mistake. You are here because the next chapter of your life has already begun. There is a message being released from the higher realms, whispered through angels who have been watching over you, guiding you, protecting you, and preparing the path that is now unfolding beneath your feet. They know what you've endured. They know the nights you pressed through fear, confusion, or lack. They know the battles you never spoke about, the burdens you carried in silence, and the times you wondered if breakthrough would ever arrive. And now, they are stepping forward to tell you clearly, the shift has started. The miracle is already in motion. What you've been waiting for is on its way, faster than you think. This is not just a spiritual moment. It is a financial and generational moment. Heaven is not only healing hearts, it is releasing provision. Angels are not only guiding your path, they are clearing the blockages that once stood between you and abundance. You are entering a season where the divine is calling resources toward you, aligning opportunities with you, and opening doors that were once sealed shut. This is a moment where you are not just told to have faith, you are told to prepare. Because what's coming is tangible. What's coming is visible. What's coming is measurable. Money is moving toward you. Wealth is shifting in your direction. Favor is gathering around your name.
The angels are speaking, and their message is simple. Pay attention, because the blessing you asked for has already started searching for you. You are stepping into alignment with increase, with opportunity, with financial uplift. You are being positioned for open doors you didn't knock on, answers you didn't chase, and provision that arrives like divine confirmation. So don't scroll away. Don't look aside. This moment is not random. It's a divine appointment. Miracles are moving toward you. Peace is drawing near, and your breakthrough is closer now than ever before. Receive this moment as though you were stepping into a sacred space, even if you're simply holding your phone, because heaven is leaning closer to you right now. As you step into this calling, I invite you to show your faith. Type Amen in the comments as a declaration that you're ready to walk into what God has prepared for you. And stay with me to the end, because we'll finish with a powerful prayer that could shift your entire day.
This inner shaking is heaven's way of alerting you that your current environment can no longer contain the version of you that God is raising. You may have felt restless without knowing why. You may have sensed that certain things no longer fit, relationships, habits, assignments, even your own thought patterns. That is because heaven has begun rearranging your life, piece by piece, preparing you for what comes next. Every shift you've experienced was intentional. Every person who left, every door that closed, every opportunity that slipped away, it was all a divine nudge directing you toward alignment. Your mind has been shifting first. Thoughts you once believed you could settle for no longer satisfy you. You're questioning things that once felt comfortable. A new desire is forming within you. Deeper clarity, deeper truth, deeper purpose. Heaven is cleansing your inner world, pulling away distractions, breaking mental patterns, and calling your attention upward. This divine rearrangement is not chaotic. It is surgical. You are being sharpened, refined, renewed. Then there are your relationships. Some have drifted, others have intensified,
and still others have been revealed for what they truly are. This is not accidental. When heaven prepares a person for elevation, it simultaneously begins to shift the people around them. Some are meant to walk with you into the next chapter, and some were only assigned to a previous season. The tension, confusion, or distance you've been feeling with certain individuals is heaven's subtle way of saying, this connection was temporary. Release it with grace. You are not losing people, you are being positioned. Your finances, too, have felt the waves of this spiritual rearrangement. What felt delayed, restricted, or unstable has been part of a larger redirection. Heaven disrupts what is familiar when preparing you for what is greater. You have been learning discipline, trust, and discernment, even when it felt like lack.
What looked like withholding was actually foundation laying. Your financial path is not drying up. It is being rebuilt. And then there is your purpose, the quiet but persistent pull on your spirit. You have felt the call growing louder. You may not know exactly what you are being prepared for, but you sense that something significant is approaching. That uneasiness you've been feeling is not fear, it is recognition. Your spirit knows there is more, and it refuses to let you settle. Heaven rearranges purpose by amplifying what you can no longer ignore. These shifts are affirmed and made even clearer through the lens of Scripture. The message connects what you are experiencing to God's consistent pattern of transformation throughout the Bible. In Isaiah 43:19, God declares, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it?" This verse captures exactly what is happening in your life. The new thing God is doing is already in motion. You are only now beginning to perceive it. The change didn't start today. Today is simply when you became aware of it. And then, Jeremiah 29:11 speaks directly to this divine rearrangement. "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." These words confirm that every shift, every redirection, every internal stirring has been guided by God's intentional plan. You are not being torn apart. You are being rebuilt. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. God's plan for your life has not been canceled. It is being activated. The awakening you are experiencing is heaven's announcement that the old chapter is closing and a new one is beginning. The discomfort is a sign of expansion. The heaviness is a sign of rebirth. You are shedding layers, identities, and patterns that no longer serve the person you are becoming. This is not the breakdown. This is the breakthrough. You are stepping into spiritual visibility. Your name has been called in heavenly places. Everything around you and within you is shifting because you have been marked for a higher assignment. And heaven is making sure that nothing, not even your own doubts, can hold you back from stepping into it. This is the awakening. This is the calling. And this is only the beginning of what heaven is about to do in your life. Stepping deeper into this divine moment, we enter the realm where breakthrough, restoration, and financial freedom are not distant dreams, but promises already unfolding around you. This is the space where God begins to step into the struggles you've carried for far too long. Not to observe them, not to judge them, but to transform them. The same God who sees every tear, every burden, every silent battle, is now moving closer to bring peace where there has been chaos and clarity where there has been confusion. And in that movement, something powerful begins. The shift from survival to breakthrough. You may not have realized it, but heaven has been aligning things for you long before you felt the first signs of relief. The divine has been orchestrating a turnaround in the very areas where you have felt the most overwhelmed. Your finances, your responsibilities, your emotional burdens,
your circumstances, your relationships. God is not stepping in because you cried out once. He is stepping in because your spirit carries a destiny too important to be buried under stress, lack, or constant pressure. This is the moment where His peace doesn't just soothe you, it rearranges your life. His presence doesn't just comfort you, it rebuilds what was broken. And as you feel this shift, you also begin to recognize that financial relief is not a wish. It is a divine arrangement already underway. Opportunities you didn't expect, resources you didn't chase, and open doors you didn't have the strength to knock on are beginning to align themselves with your path.
Your name is being placed on the hearts of people who have the power to bless you. Your steps are being directed towards spaces where favor has already been prepared. You are not simply hoping for change. You are stepping into a chapter where change becomes inevitable. God is organizing financial breakthroughs that remove the weight of constant worry. He is positioning the right connections, the right conversations, the right moments, the right ideas, the right opportunities at the exact time your spirit is ready to receive them. This is the season where you will begin to see how one unexpected email, one open door, one favor, one act of kindness, one shift in timing can transform everything. What once felt impossible will begin to unfold naturally. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because heaven has decided it is your time. But for God to build something powerful, He often starts by allowing us to walk through experiences that shape us. And that is why many of the painful seasons you endured are now being revealed as preparation, not punishment. You were never abandoned. You were being sharpened. You were never forgotten. You were being positioned. You were never rejected. You were being redirected towards something bigger than what you lost. Every difficult chapter you survived is now becoming evidence that you were being equipped for elevation. As heaven begins releasing financial freedom, emotional restoration, and spiritual renewal, you will look back at your past not with regret, but with understanding. You will recognize that every pain was a setup for purpose, every delay was divine timing, and every obstacle was shaping the strength needed to carry the blessing now approaching your life. This is not the season where you wonder if God is working. This is the season where you witness it. Through opportunities that surprise you, favor that surrounds you, and breakthroughs that feel like grace unfolding in real time. And as you step into it, remember this: God did not bring you this far to leave you in lack. He did not protect you through storms just to abandon you in the aftermath. Every struggle you've survived is now becoming the foundation for the financial freedom, restoration, and peace that are entering your life. Your breakthrough is not just coming, it has already begun. As this divine narrative unfolds, we step into the realm where blessings don't just arrive. They arrive suddenly, unexpectedly, and with a speed that only heaven can orchestrate. This is the phase of your journey where things begin to shift so quickly that even you will struggle to understand how everything changed so fast. Doors open without explanation. Opportunities appear without effort. Answers show up without warning. And what once seemed delayed suddenly becomes accelerated. This is what happens when God decides it is your time. Blessings don't walk toward you, they run toward you. Breakthroughs don't develop slowly, they burst into your life. Favor doesn't trickle, it pours. Divine acceleration takes what should have taken years and compresses it into weeks, sometimes even days. You will begin to notice that the blessings coming your way have been released at a pace that only a supernatural hand could set in motion. Your blessing will come in the same way, not by human permission, but by divine authority. Chains that held you financially, emotionally, or spiritually are being broken. Doors you thought were sealed are being opened, and situations that looked final are shifting overnight. What was locked is unlocking. What was withheld is being released. What was delayed is accelerating toward you. Job's story offers another powerful image of sudden restoration. He endured loss, pain, betrayal, confusion, and agony. He walked through a valley so deep it felt like the end. But when God stepped in, the turnaround wasn't slow or partial. It was overflowing and immediate. Job received double for everything he lost, and it happened in a way that made onlookers marvel. The speed of his restoration was divine proof that God never forgets the faithful, the suffering, or the misunderstood. Your life is entering that same divine pattern. Every area where you lost peace, finances, relationships, opportunities, or confidence is now positioned for restoration that comes quickly, much quicker than you expect. You will not just recover, you will recover in abundance. You will not just rise, you will rise faster than anyone thought possible. You will not just be healed, you will be healed beyond recognition, reshaped by grace rather than brokenness. And then there is the promise of Malachi 3:10, where God declares He will open the windows of heaven and pour out blessing so great that there will not be room enough to contain it. This is not poetic language. It is a divine forecast of overflow. It means blessings will reach you in such volume and such speed that your future can no longer resemble your past. Windows of heaven do not open quietly. They do not open gently. They open suddenly, releasing a downpour that moves with force, intention, and unstoppable momentum. This is the image of what God is preparing in your life. Blessings that come in waves, breakthroughs that come in clusters, opportunities that arrive one after another, as if heaven is saying, "It's your time now. You've waited long enough." But why now? Why this sudden acceleration? Why this divine urgency? Because heaven has taken notice of the tears no one saw, the prayers no one heard, and the battles no one understood. Your private moments of staying strong while breaking inside did not go unnoticed. Your resilience during seasons when giving up would have been easier did not go unseen. Your hidden faith, the moments you whispered prayers in the dark, the times you believed even when everything looked hopeless, became the very reason heaven is responding with such power. It is not your perfection that moved God. It is your perseverance. It is not your strength that brought this blessing. It is your surrender. It is not your loud faith that attracted favor. It is your quiet faithfulness. Heaven responds to people who keep going, even when they feel weary, who keep believing, even when faith feels thin, who keep standing, even when storms are violent. You are being rewarded for the battles you faced alone, for the nights you cried but still chose to trust, for the seasons where you felt forgotten but remained faithful, for the times you were overlooked but stayed humble,
For every moment where life tried to break you, but you didn't break. This is why blessings will come suddenly. This is why breakthroughs will arrive unexpectedly. This is why divine acceleration is taking over your story. You have reached the point where heaven says, enough delay, enough struggle, enough waiting. It is time. The speed of your coming breakthrough is divine confirmation that God has stepped into your timeline. This isn't just a chapter turning. This is a divine shift, a supernatural leap, a season where acceleration becomes your new normal. What you thought would take years is coming in months. What you thought you lost forever is returning multiplied. What you believed was beyond reach is being placed in your hands. And the blessings that are now approaching you are not coming slowly. They are coming suddenly, powerfully, and undeniably. And as this divine acceleration unfolds, you begin to realize something deeper, something sacred, something that reaches beyond blessing and touches identity itself. Because the God who is moving for you is not only the one who opens doors, he is also the one who heals what was broken, restores what was stolen, and equips you with the ability to create wealth, purpose, and legacy.
God is not simply rescuing you. He is revealing you. And in this revelation, He is awakening the truth written over your life long before you felt the sting of rejection, the weight of shame, or the pressure of delay. This truth begins here. He is your provider. Not your job, not your connections, not the systems around you. God Himself is the one who empowers you to create wealth, as told in Deuteronomy 8:18. This means the resources coming your way are not random, and the opportunities rising before you are not luck. They are intentional alignments, orchestrated by a God who saw your effort, your integrity, and your faithfulness in seasons when no one else noticed. And now He is responding. He is healing the places where worry kept your mind restless. He is restoring the strength you lost in battles no one else knew you were fighting. He is positioning you to receive not just financial provision, but holy strategy. The kind of clarity that transforms ordinary steps into extraordinary outcomes. But even this is only part of the story. Because provision alone doesn't define you. Identity does. And heaven is leaning close to remind you of who you truly are. You are chosen. You are protected. You are seen. You are strengthened. You are destined. Every lie spoken over you, every whisper that said you were behind, unworthy, forgotten, or too broken, now dissolves under the weight of God's truth. Because He has called you by name, He has covered you with purpose, and He has assigned angels to guide you into the fullness of who you were created to be. You are not someone stumbling your way through life. You are someone sent. You are not someone barely holding on. You are someone being lifted. You are not someone trying to prove your worth. You are someone already chosen, already marked, already equipped. And when God marks someone, no season of disappointment can erase it. No failure can cancel it. No criticism can diminish it. No enemy can undo it.
Divine identity cannot be stolen. It can only be forgotten. And today, heaven is helping you remember. This is why your past discouragement is losing its grip. This is why shame is breaking off. This is why fear is shrinking. This is why confusion is lifting, because none of these things have the authority to stand in the presence of God's promises. They may have spoken loudly in previous seasons, but now a louder voice rises within you, the voice of truth, purpose, and divine belonging. God is not simply telling you He will provide. He is telling you why. Because you are His. Because you are chosen. Because you carry an assignment. Because your future requires freedom from the limitations that once held you. Your purpose is not random. Your existence is not accidental. Every experience you've survived, every delay, every no, every door that closed was shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you for a level of influence, clarity, and abundance that only mature hearts can carry. Your identity has always been bigger than the battles you faced, and now heaven pulls back the curtain so you can see yourself through God's eyes, not through the lens of your past, not through the opinions of people, not through the fears that once clouded your vision. You are a carrier of light. You are a vessel of breakthrough. You are a walking testimony of grace and transformation. You are someone whose steps are ordered, whose life is protected, and whose path is aligned with divine intention. And so, as God provides, He also recalibrates your mindset. As He blesses, He also reshapes your identity. As He increases you, He also secures your foundation. This is why nothing that tried to destroy you succeeded. This is why the storms you endured didn't break you. This is why the seasons of lack didn't define you.
They weren't punishments. They were the fire that forged your strength, the wilderness that sharpened your discernment, the nights that deepened your faith. Because your purpose required resilience. Your destiny required depth. Your calling required character. And now that you have grown into the version of yourself God always knew you could become, the next chapter opens with confidence, provision, healing, and clarity. You are stepping into abundance, not as a beggar, but as a rightful heir. You are stepping into opportunity, not as someone lucky, but as someone chosen. You are stepping into identity, not as someone uncertain, but as someone awakened. Your past no longer owns you. Your fears no longer define you. Your failures no longer speak for you. God's promises do. And those promises declare you are provided for. You are purposeful. You are powerful. You are protected. And you are walking into the identity heaven always reserved for you. And now, as everything within you begins to rise into greater clarity, the message shifts again. Because this upcoming week is not an ordinary stretch of days. It is a marked moment, a divinely scheduled window where heaven has already written your name into breakthroughs, solutions, and encounters that will remind you just how closely God has been walking with you. There are weeks where life feels predictable. There are weeks where everything stays the same. But then there are weeks like the one you are stepping into now. Weeks that heaven calls appointed. Weeks that are stamped with divine intention. Weeks where the atmosphere around you feels charged because something sacred is preparing to unfold. And this is one of those weeks. You may not see the full picture yet, but behind the scenes, God has already placed people, opportunities, and answers along your path. Some of them you will stumble into unexpectedly. Some will arrive as sudden clarity. Others will appear as invitations, open doors, or quiet confirmations that whisper, "You're on the right path. Keep walking."
This is why anxiety begins to lose its grip on you. This is why fear starts shrinking. This is why spiritual attacks that once felt overwhelming suddenly feel powerless. Because this week, heaven is shifting your atmosphere. This week, your spirit is rising. This week, your steps are guided with unusual precision and unusual protection. You are walking into days where frustration gives way to favor, where confusion is replaced with direction, where closed doors that once felt final are revisited by the hand of God and opened with ease. Financial solutions that seemed far away begin to move toward you. Delayed answers start accelerating. People who once overlooked you will now feel compelled to assist you, support you, or speak on your behalf. Not because of luck, not because of coincidence, but because God is softening hearts around you, preparing circumstances ahead of you, and aligning opportunities for you with supernatural timing. This week carries a holy weight. Not the weight of burden, but the weight of blessing. Not heaviness, but significance. Not pressure, but purpose. It is the kind of week where you wake up and feel an invisible shift, something in your spirit sensing that the ground beneath your feet is changing, that your name is being spoken in rooms you haven't entered yet, that your steps are moving in rhythm with God's plan. And as God prepares the path ahead, He also prepares you. He strengthens your mind. He steadies your emotions. He fills your spirit with renewed confidence. Because divine encounters require a ready heart, and miracles require an open posture. Expectation becomes your language. Hope becomes your anchor. Faith becomes your atmosphere. And so, as you walk into this marked week, you are not walking alone. You are stepping into days already shaped by God's hands. Days where the supernatural brushes against the natural, where favor steps forward before you arrive, where angels walk beside you in silence but with unmistakable impact. This is the week where clarity comes. This is the week where burdens lift. This is the week where answers arrive. This is the week where your faith feels awake again. And above all, this is the week where God reminds you that He has been ahead of you all along, preparing, arranging, aligning, softening, shifting, and opening what once felt impossible. You are not stepping into just another set of days. You are stepping into your appointed moment. Walk into it with courage. Walk into it with expectation. Walk into it knowing heaven has gone before you. And as the path of this marked week unfolds beneath your feet, the message transitions yet again. This time toward the season you are about to step into. A season defined not by lack, not by waiting, and not by struggle, but by transformational blessings that overflow beyond what you've prayed for, beyond what you've imagined, and beyond what you once believed you deserved. This is not the season of just enough. This is not the season of survival. This is not the season of barely holding on. You are entering a chapter where blessings arrive in waves. Waves that overwhelm, waves that surprise, waves that remind you that God does not measure by human standards or limited expectations. Scripture calls it pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And that is exactly the dimension you are stepping into. Blessings that are packed tightly, multiplied, and poured out until they overflow into every area of your life. You will feel it in your finances. You will feel it in your relationships. You will feel it in your confidence. You will feel it in your spirit. This is the kind of blessing that doesn't just touch one area. It transforms your whole life from the inside out. Because God is not giving you fragments. He is giving you fullness. He is not giving you crumbs. He is giving you tables. He is not giving you temporary comfort. He is giving you permanent change. And this is why the message continues by addressing something sacred. The parts of your life that felt dried out, abandoned, forgotten, or lifeless. The dreams that seemed dead, the hopes that dimmed, the relationships that cracked under pressure, the purpose that felt delayed or unreachable. Every area of your life that looked like a barren field is now being spoken to with resurrection power. Every seed that lay dormant is now receiving heavenly rain. Every dream that withered is now stirring again. Because when God steps into a situation, He does not merely repair, He revives. He resurrects. He brings life where there was decay and strength where there was weakness. Your creativity is coming back. Your passion is returning. Your joy is rising. Your faith is igniting. Your spiritual sensitivity is awakening again. What you thought was over is not over. What you thought was wasted is not wasted. What you thought God had forgotten is being restored in a way that leaves no doubt. He was preparing you, not punishing you. Those dry, brittle areas of your life are not evidence of failure. They are indicators of where resurrection is about to occur. They are the places where God is going to show His power the most clearly. They are the landscapes that will testify to His faithfulness. Some things needed to die so better things could be born. Some relationships needed to break so healthier ones could form. Some chapters needed to close so you could walk boldly into new beginnings without dragging old burdens behind you. And now, as you stand on the threshold of this new season, heaven begins to underline a truth that cannot be shaken. God's promises do not depend on the season you are in. They depend on the one who spoke them. Seasons change.
People change. Circumstances change. Opportunities shift. Life moves in unexpected directions. But the promises God made over your life remain fixed, firm, and unmovable. When God says you are blessed, no circumstance can reverse it. When God declares your increase, no opposition can delay it. When God marks your name for elevation, no human opinion can cancel it. When God calls you chosen, no failure can unchoose you. This is why you may have walked through storms, but the storms didn't break you. You may have walked through fire, but the flames didn't consume you. You may have walked through nights of confusion, but the nights didn't define you. Because the promise has always been stronger than the problem. The calling has always been stronger than the chaos. The purpose has always been stronger than the pain. And so, as this section draws closer to its heart, hear this clearly. You are stepping into a new chapter, one that will look nothing like the chapters before it. This chapter is not birthed from fear, but from faith. Not from loss, but from restoration. Not from disappointment, but from divine timing. God is rewriting your story with glory, not grief. He is rebuilding what collapsed. He is restoring what was stolen. He is reconnecting what was severed. He is reviving what was dormant. Your new chapter is not fragile. It is fortified. It is strengthened by every hardship you endured and every lesson you learned. It is guided by the wisdom you gained and the resilience you developed. It is marked by heaven and protected by God's hand. This is why the blessings coming to you are transformational, because they aren't just external changes,
They are internal awakenings. They shift how you see yourself, how you walk, how you speak, how you believe. When God elevates you internally, everything around you must follow. When God heals you internally, everything connected to you benefits.
When God aligns you internally, the external must fall into place. This is the turning point. This is the awakening. This is the overflow. This is the chapter you've been waiting for. And the beauty of it all is this: what God is bringing into your life now will not be fragile, fleeting, or conditional. It will last. It will multiply. It will strengthen you. It will establish you. And it will testify of His favor on you. Your new chapter begins now. Walk into it with boldness. Walk into it with gratitude. Walk into it with expectation. Heaven has gone before you. God is standing beside you. And blessings, transformational, overflowing, undeniable blessings, are running toward you even now. Restoration is not coming quietly. Abundance is not coming partially. Provision is not coming in pieces. This phase of your destiny carries a fullness designed to repair what was broken, replenish what was drained, and restore what was stolen, not only for you, but for every life intertwined with your own. And so the message deepens into the promise of financial breakthrough, emphasizing again and again that heaven is not indifferent to your needs. God is not distant from your burdens. He has seen the scarcity, the stress, the stretch, the seasons where you had to hold everything together with nothing but grit and grace. But hear this clearly: your days of financial fear are coming to an end. Your nights of worrying about how are dissolving. Your season of surviving is giving way to a season of thriving. The abundance coming your way is not random. It is intentional. It is not luck. It is divine placement. It is not coincidence. It is orchestration. God is opening financial doors you couldn't pry open on your own. He is aligning opportunities you never knew existed. He is bringing resources, connections, and provision that fit your calling, not just your comfort. This is the kind of blessing that comes after long seasons of endurance. This is the kind of breakthrough that follows years of sowing and tears. This is the kind of provision that arrives not as a whisper, but as a declaration. Your time has come. And it is here that the message gently turns towards something sacred: your tears. The tears you cried privately, the tears no one saw, the tears you wiped quickly so others would not worry. Scripture says, "Those who sow in tears shall reap with songs of joy." Psalm 126. And this is not poetic exaggeration. It is the spiritual law of divine exchange. Every tear that fell from you was not wasted. It was planted. Every moment of heartbreak was not lost. It was sown. Every silent prayer, every night you fought to stay hopeful, every time you battled discouragement but chose faith anyway, you were planting seeds. And now, those seeds are rising. Now, those seeds are breaking through the soil. Now, those seeds are producing harvests that will overwhelm you with joy. You didn't simply endure pain, you invested it. You didn't simply survive sorrow, you planted it. You didn't simply walk through storms, you sowed in them. And because of that, joy is coming as a harvest, not a moment. Breakthrough is coming as a lifestyle, not a single blessing. Provision is coming as a pattern, not an exception. God is not merely changing your circumstances, He is changing your outcomes. But the beauty of this chapter is that the blessing is not limited to you alone. In fact, heaven is making something abundantly clear. The breakthrough coming into your life will not stop at your doorstep. It will enter your home, touch your family, and overflow into the lives of those connected to you. This is where generational blessings begin. This is where cycles break. This is where patterns end. This is where your lineage begins to heal. The people you pray for, the ones you worry about, cry for, intercede for, and hope for, are not forgotten. God is releasing restoration into your household. He is touching relationships that felt distant. He is softening hearts that were hardened. He is returning prodigals. He is healing wounded connections. For some, the financial breakthrough coming into your life will unlock stability for your family. For others, your spiritual alignment will awaken something in a child, a sibling, a spouse, or a parent. For many, emotional wounds within the family will begin to close as grace enters the home. The blessing flowing to you is not a stream, it is a river, and a river always finds its way into every gap, every corner, every dry place. God is positioning you as a pillar in your bloodline. He is making you the one who breaks generational poverty, the one who disrupts generational fear, the one who overturns generational pain, the one who establishes generational faith. Your family may not understand it yet, but heaven has selected you as the shift bringer, the atmosphere changer, the one who opens spiritual and financial doors that were shut for generations. And because of that calling, your household is being covered. Your loved ones are being protected. Your family line is being redeemed. This is why the battles you've faced felt heavier, because you were lifting more than your own destiny. You were lifting your lineage. You were breaking chains that didn't start with you, but would have ended with you if you hadn't stood firm, prayed, believed, and endured. Now heaven is honoring the weight you carried. Now heaven is rewarding the faith you maintained. Now heaven is releasing blessing that touches not just your hands, but every hand connected to yours. The restoration coming will surprise you. The abundance coming will sustain you. The family breakthrough coming will humble you. Where there was lack, there will be plenty. Where there was fear, there will be peace. Where there was division, there will be union. Where there was confusion, there will be clarity.
Where there was pain, there will be joy overflowing. This is not just your breakthrough. This is your household's breakthrough. This is your bloodline's breakthrough. This is your generation's turning point, and it begins now. And as the promise of restoration and family breakthrough continues to unfold, the message shifts once more, focusing now on something even more foundational: the God who protects you, rescues you, and strengthens you. Because blessings are powerful, but they rest upon an even greater truth. You are covered. You are defended. You are guarded by a divine force no darkness can penetrate. When Scripture says, "The Lord is faithful, and He will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one," 2 Thessalonians 3:3, it is not offering poetic comfort. It is revealing a spiritual reality that has been surrounding your life long before you understood it, long before you prayed for it, long before you even knew how much you needed it. God has been your shield. God has been your barrier. God has been your light. And God has been fighting battles you never even knew were taking place. As this message deepens, heaven begins to expose something important. There were past attempts,
spiritual, emotional, relational, and circumstantial, designed to break you. Some were meant to silence your voice. Some were meant to weaken your confidence. Some were meant to destroy your peace. Some were meant to derail your purpose. And some were crafted to stop your destiny before you even reached the starting line. But they failed. Not because you were strong enough, not because you had everything together, not because you always knew what to do. They failed for one reason and one reason alone. God stepped in. You may not have seen it in the moment, but God was blocking attacks left and right. He was shutting doors the enemy tried to pry open. He was removing people who were never meant to sit close to your destiny.
He was exposing lies that were meant to discourage you. He was lifting you when heaviness tried to drown you. You survived moments that should have broken you. You endured seasons that would have crushed someone else. You walked through fire and came out without smelling like smoke. This wasn't coincidence. This was divine rescue. Jeremiah 39:18 says, "I will save you because you trusted in me." And that promise echoes over your life right now. God didn't just protect your body, He protected your mind. He protected your spirit. He preserved your purpose. He safeguarded your future. And even when you felt weak, defeated, or overwhelmed, heaven was strengthening you from within. This is where the message shifts again to a deeper revelation. Your strength was never your own. Romans 8:11 declares that the very Spirit who raised Jesus from the dead lives in you. That means your resilience is not natural, it's supernatural. Your ability to get back up after everything you've walked through is not random. It is evidence of God's breath inside you. When you felt empty, that was God filling you. When you felt numb, that was God reviving you. When you felt defeated, that was God reminding you who you are. When you felt lost, that was God leading you step by step. Your strength does not come from your talent, your discipline, your personality, your willpower, or your achievements. Your strength comes from the Spirit who lives within you. A spirit that refuses to let you collapse under pressure. A spirit that keeps pushing you toward purpose, even when you don't feel capable of moving forward. And this strength, this divine empowerment, is the reason you are still here. The enemy tried to break you, but God built you stronger. The enemy tried to silence you, but God amplified your voice. The enemy tried to exhaust you, but God renewed your spirit. Every time darkness tried to win, God stepped in and whispered, "Not this one." Every time fear tried to overwhelm you, God whispered, "Peace, be still." Every time people underestimated you, God whispered, "Chosen." Every time life tried to crush you, God whispered, "Rise." And now, as your spirit begins to steady and your confidence returns, the message arrives at its final revelation: surrender. But not surrender as defeat. Surrender as elevation. Surrender as alignment. Surrender as rest. Because when you finally stop trying to carry everything alone, when you let God step into the center of your worries, when you release the weight you were never meant to hold,
something miraculous happens. Peace replaces pressure. Purpose replaces confusion. Clarity replaces anxiety. Overflow replaces lack. Surrendering to God doesn't weaken you. It strengthens you with a strength that doesn't run out, doesn't collapse, doesn't fail under pressure. It doesn't lead you into limitation. It leads you into abundance. Because God can fill your hands only after you release what's weighing them down. It doesn't steal your freedom. It anchors your identity in something unshakable, unbreakable, and eternal. This is the posture that unlocks miracles. This is the posture that ushers in breakthroughs. This is the posture that gives God permission to rewrite your story with power and precision. And so you stand here now, not as someone barely surviving, but as someone divinely protected. Not as someone constantly attacked, but as someone continually rescued. Not as someone running on empty, but as someone filled with supernatural strength. Not as someone lost, but as someone guided by the hand of heaven. You are not in this journey alone. You never were. You never will be. God surrounds you. God strengthens you. God rescues you. God defends you. God upholds you. God carries you. And now, God is lifting you higher.
And as we move into the next part of your journey, the message becomes clear. You must not give up now, because your breakthrough is closer than your emotions are telling you, closer than your circumstances are showing you, and closer than the enemy wants you to realize. This moment, right here, right now, is not accidental. It is preparation. It is alignment. It is the tightening of a bow right before the arrow is launched into its destiny. And even though the pressure feels intense, even though the waiting feels long, heaven is whispering, "Hold on. You're about to see what the struggle was stretching you for." You see, when God prepares someone for breakthrough, it rarely looks like breakthrough at first. It often looks like delay, disruption, resistance, or even silence. But God's silence is not absence. His delays are not denials. His preparation is not punishment. What you have been walking through has been shaping you, quietly, invisibly, intentionally, for the very thing you've prayed for. What you call obstacles, heaven calls training. What you label as setbacks, God labels as setups. What you see as closed doors are actually divine redirections steering you toward the door with your name carved into it. And this leads us into the next truth. Your challenges have not been random. They have been transitions, pushing you into alignment with God's will for your life. Even the parts you didn't understand, even the seasons you cried over, even the losses you thought would break you. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was overlooked. Nothing slipped through God's hands. The pressure you felt was shaping your spirit. The discomfort you felt was pushing you out of spaces you had outgrown. The relationships that fell away were clearing the atmosphere around you so your next assignments could breathe. Some of what you wanted would have drowned you. Some of the people you begged God to keep near would have sabotaged you. Some of the environments you prayed to stay in would have suffocated your purpose. But God, loving, wise, patient, interrupted your plan to protect your future. He closed what you thought you needed so He could open what He knows you are destined for. And the resistance you felt wasn't rejection. It was redirection into divine alignment. And now we move deeper into the heart of this message. Your past struggles are not endings. They are about to become testimonies of God's victory. The tears you shed didn't fall to the ground unnoticed.
They watered the soil of the very harvest that is coming toward you. The nights you stayed awake, wondering if things would ever change, have been recorded in heaven as seeds of faith. The battles you didn't think you could survive became proof that the hand of God has been on your life the entire time. What the enemy used to try to break you is exactly what God will use to build you. What was meant to silence you will become the very story that gives someone else hope. What was meant to shame you will become the testimony that lifts others out of the same pit you escaped. You will not come out of this empty-handed. You will not come out of this story without reward. You will not come out of this season without transformation. Heaven is preparing to turn your mourning into dancing, your confusion into clarity, your fear into courage, your lack into overflow, your wandering into purpose. And the shift won't be small. It won't be subtle. It won't be something you have to guess about. It will be undeniable, unexplainable, and unstoppable. The kind of breakthrough that makes people who doubted you say, "There's no way they did that alone. God had to be involved." You are stepping into a new identity, one shaped not by your failures, not by your fears, not by your mistakes, not by the opinions of others, but by God's hand, God's voice, and God's calling over your life. You are not who you were last year. You are not who your past says you are.
You are not who your struggles have tried to define you as. You are becoming who God designed you to be before the foundations of the earth were laid. This new identity is stronger. This identity is wiser. This identity carries authority. This identity carries promise. This identity carries heaven's approval. And even if you don't fully see it yet, even if you don't feel it yet, something in your spirit senses it. Something inside you knows that change is near, that the page is turning, the season is shifting, and the story is about to make sense. So keep moving forward with faith, even if your steps feel small. Keep showing up, even when the process feels slow. Keep praying, even when the answer feels delayed. Keep believing, even when the enemy whispers lies. Because you are not waiting for breakthrough anymore. You are being prepared for it, positioned for it, aligned for it, strengthened for it. Breakthrough is not coming one day. Breakthrough is drawing near now. Breakthrough is gathering momentum in the unseen. Breakthrough is unfolding behind the curtain. Breakthrough is being written into your next chapter, even as you read these words. Your preparation has purpose. Your pain has meaning. Your story has glory attached to it. And your new identity, stronger, bolder, wiser, and chosen, is ready to emerge. And as we come to the closing movement of this message, everything comes together in one powerful truth. God has seen your pain, heard your prayers, and heaven is responding right now in ways far greater than anything you've imagined. Not one tear escaped his notice. Not one silent prayer vanished into the air. Not one battle you fought alone was ignored. Even the moments when you felt invisible to the world, you were held in the very center of God's attention. You were carried. You were protected. You were strengthened. And though you may not have recognized it at the time, every step you took brought you closer to this divine moment of transformation. This is the turning point your spirit has been sensing. This is the shift your heart has been craving. This is the breakthrough your faith has been preparing you for. God is not late. He is precise. He does not forget. He fulfills. And now, the answers you've waited for, the healing you've longed for, and the clarity you've begged God for are beginning to align in the unseen realm, preparing to manifest in your life in undeniable ways. The wait has not been wasted. The struggle has not been pointless. The delay has not been a rejection. It has been divine orchestration. Because the next chapter of your life will not look like the one you came out of. This new chapter will be marked by blessings, clarity, calling, and a level of divine alignment that will make sense of everything that once felt confusing or painful. God is about to bring direction to places where you felt scattered. He's about to bring peace to areas where your heart felt divided. He's about to bring breakthrough to situations where you felt stuck, overlooked, or underestimated. The fog that clouded your spirit is lifting. The fear that tried to hold you hostage is losing its grip. The voices that tried to distract or discourage you are being silenced in the presence of God's plan. And with that, let your heart receive this next truth with boldness. What once felt impossible is becoming inevitable through God's intervention. The prayers that seemed too big for your reality are the very prayers God is now breathing life into. The situations that looked immovable are the ones heaven is rearranging. The dreams that felt buried beneath disappointment are rising again. The financial relief you thought was too far away, the opportunities you thought were reserved for others, the healing you thought would take years, God is making possible in moments.
He is not limited by time, resources, or earthly systems. He is the God who parts seas, breaks chains, opens prison doors, restores what was lost, and multiplies what was insufficient. The impossible becomes inevitable when God steps in. The unlikely becomes undeniable when God moves. The delayed becomes accelerated when God breathes. The hidden becomes revealed when God speaks. And the ordinary becomes extraordinary when God's hand rests upon it. So, as this message draws to a close, hear this final invitation clearly and receive it with your whole spirit. Expect miracles, embrace your purpose, and trust that heaven has already approved what's next for you. Miracles are not rare in the kingdom you belong to. They are the language of your Father. Purpose is not something you have to chase. It is something you walk into once you trust God's leading. And the future is not something you need to fear, because the same God who carried you through the valley is now lifting you onto the mountaintop. Expect miracles, not someday, not eventually, not when you feel more prepared, but now. Expect doors to open. Expect answers to arrive. Expect peace to settle. Expect opportunities to appear. Expect favor to follow you. Expect alignment to unfold. Expect God to reveal exactly why the journey looked the way it did. Because heaven is not waiting for permission. Heaven has already begun the work. And your next chapter, blessed, aligned, overflowing, purposeful, is already written with your name on it. Walk forward with faith. Step boldly into your calling. Lift your head high because God has called you chosen, prepared, and ready. And as you move forward, remember this truth. What's coming is better than what you've lost. What's ahead is greater than what's behind. And what God has ordained for you,
No force on earth or in hell can stop. Thank you for praying with us, chosen one. If something in this message touched your spirit, don't hold it in, share it in the comments. What you write could be the exact confirmation someone else is waiting for. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you never miss another word from heaven. This is more than a video. It's a divine moment.